folks, I figured it was about dang time I did a video about the Tampa ARCHAIX meetup. This happened in like May or something. Now I almost wasn't gonna make this video because of all the crap that's going on in the world, but fortunately, I live in my own world. So I was almost not going to be able to go to the meetup because I got booked to watch this crazy ass bulldog the day before, and I couldn't just like go gallivanting off to a weirdo convention and leave him unsupervised because the owner was like trying to rehome him, and I'm like, what is wrong with this dog? Why is she trying to rehome him? It turns out that the venue was only like an 8-minute drive from my house. So I thought, oh, I could come home on the lunch break. So I informed my field and I reached out to the owner, and she was like, sure, that's fine. Turns out that she kept this beast in a little tiny crate all day while she was at work. Now at least I have a huge crate. That was like a luxury suite compared to the little box that she kept him in. It's like no wonder he was so insane. So the day before the meetup, Jason got into Tampa and he posted this video. Y'all, this tower is like 2 inches from my house. He was literally staying in my backyard. The house number he was staying at was even the same house number as mine. Proof that we are living in a mathematical construct. Okay, so when I get to the venue, the first person I see in the parking lot is Big John. So I run over to him and I say, hey, is there anything I can do? And he says, maybe you can help with the chairs? Okay. Now I'm pretty sure I was on the guest list, but I snuck in behind him just in case security tried to stop me. Oh yeah, he was security. So we get inside the venue and all the chairs are already set up. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I have to do something. And just then Tiger Turtle comes up to me and gives me a big hug. Turns out that Tiger Turtle is the new merch girl. So I'm like, is there anything I can do? And she's like, well, actually, yeah, can you help me with the t-shirts? I've got to arrange them according to their size and design. So I was like, I'm on it. But she tells me she has something to give me, so she takes me back into the kitchen and she pulls out this adorable little yellow vintage summer dress. It's perfect. That little dress was exactly what I needed. That was just so sweet of her. And then Jason's girlfriend Dawn comes up to me and she gives me a big hug. So we go back to the merch table and Tiger Turtle keeps thanking me for helping out. And I told her I was just so happy that she said I could help because I stress out if I'm not doing something constructive. So I'm standing there and I'm sorting and I'm organizing, and lo and behold, who should appear next to me but the beautiful, stunning, and notorious Miss J. Hart. Jay? I thought you were shunning me like my sister. No. But I was texting you and commenting on your YouTube videos and tagging you in the live chats, and it must have been my phone. Okay. So after I got all the t-shirts set up real nice, I took a picture and I sent it to my daughter Abra, who's a retail manager. Literally a boss. And I told her she would be so proud of me. And she was. You know, the only other picture I took that day was with JR because... And the next thing you know, Jason walks up and he gives me a great big hug across the table. And while the sound guy was getting the sound all set up, Jason was just like milling around, talking to people. The show hasn't even started yet. He's just like walking around like he's a normal person. And then when they finally got the sound working, sort of, Jason just kind of like wanders up on stage and starts talking. And I'm like, where's the big intro? Where's the dramatic entrance to thunderous applause? What has happened to the art of stagecraft? And once again, I did not get to be his opening act. Now, it was super echoey in there, and Dawn was over by the coffee bar talking to some of the attendees. Yeah, the coffee's not ready yet. You gotta wait for the light to turn yellow. So I scurry over there and I say, Dawn, it's like really echoey in here. And Jason's like, and she looks at me like, oh God, she hates me. Why am I always trying to fix everything? I just want everything to be perfect.
We're not here to save the world. We're here to pass through it.
So I go over and I sit on the floor next to Jamie Robbins, and I listen to Jason speak for a good while. But then I decide to get up and move to the back of the room to see if the audio is any better. And while I'm standing there, I see this guy sitting on the end of a row of seats. And he gets up and he does a perfect standing forward fold. Hands flat on the floor, legs perfectly straight, as if he was about to do a Surya Namaskar A. So as soon as Jason stopped for the first break, I shuffled over to him and I said, "Do you do yoga?" And of course he said yes. I could tell. I've really been getting into Ashtanga yoga lately. And he said,
"I do Bikram yoga."
Bikram yoga. Bikram yoga. I had heard the word, but I didn't know what it was. And he said,
"It's hot yoga."
"Ooh, hardcore." And of course I'm thinking, this guy is hot. So a little while later, while I'm helping Tiger Turtle at the merch table, hot yoga guy comes over and he starts trying on the Phoenix rings. So I'm chit-chatting with him and Tiger Turtle and fixing the display shirts, acting important. And I totally not weirdly said to him, "I like hands. You have manly hands." And since none of those rings were nearly big enough to fit his manly hands, I turned to Tiger Turtle and I said, "Tiger Turtle, the rings are too small. What was Jason thinking?" I mean, I'm sure Jason has big hands too. So I turned to the fella and I apologized. "I'm so sorry, but there was nothing I could do."
We're not here to save the world. We're here to pass through it.
So I sat back down, and a couple of minutes later, one of the guests comes and tells Tiger Turtle that the trash can is really full. Got it! I used to have to do that when I worked as a stage tech. So during the next segment of Jason's presentation, I saw a hot yoga guy talking to the girl that was sitting in front of him. And I'm thinking, of course he's got a girlfriend. Typical. So when it was time for lunch, I told Big John that I was gonna run home and check on my crazy bulldog pet client. And while I was there, I was gonna grab some half and half and bring it back toward the coffee bar. Now I know what you're thinking.
Christina the Astonishing, what the f***? You're supposed to be vegan. What the heck are you doing running home to get half and half?
Technically, I'm freegan because I have not yet mastered the art of knitting a new reality and I'm still living in poverty. Why did I say that? Man, if I took an ARCHAIX course, I would totally fail. Why did I say that? Oh God, I'm in a negative feedback loop. Okay, so I go to a food pantry, and normally they give me like 20 heads of cabbage so I can feed my goats. But this week they gave me 3 freaking jugs of half and half. What the heck am I supposed to do with cow fluid? I gave one to my mom, I gave one to my neighbor, and I still had this one in my refrigerator. And I can't give it to my goats because they're 8 years old, and they're not cows. But Big John told me that Dawn likes to put half and half in her coffee. Aha! Now I can get back on her good side. So I run home, and I walk Hendrix, and I grab a half and half, and I run back to the venue, but the show already started. The door was locked. But actually it wasn't locked. I just couldn't get it open. And then I saw Dawn, and I pointed to the half and half, and she didn't even notice. So I went inside, and I poured myself a cup of coffee, and I found a seat in the back row. And I listened to this epic tale of the Israelites, and it was like so much information, and coffee has like the opposite effect on me, and I was getting real sleepy-eyed, but every now and then the sound system would make a really loud snapping me right out of it. And I kept looking over at hot yoga guy trying to figure out if he was actually there alone, because I never saw him talk to that girl again. Well, after the show was over, I guess I got on Dawn's good side after all, because she let me pick out a t-shirt to thank me for helping out. And as all the guests were waiting for the raffle to start, I awkwardly tried to socialize, but in my head I just kept thinking, I gotta get back to Hendrix. I gotta get back to Hendrix. And so I made a beeline for the exit, and as I was heading for the door, my eyes met the eyes of the hot yoga guy. But all I could muster up was this awkward wave as I scurried out the door. And as I was walking to my car, I was thinking, what is wrong with me? Why am I so shy? Maybe I should go back. Oh, but I've got to get back to Hendrix. But maybe that wasn't his girlfriend. But he's probably not even vegan. But he does yoga, so maybe he is vegan. But I'm probably 100 years older than him. Maybe I should go back. Oh, but I've been gone all day. I have to get back to Hendrix. So the next day, I was hoping that Jason would come visit the goats because he was literally staying in my backyard. But he had to get back to Texas because of this stupid legal stuff he was dealing with. But Dawn and Tiger Turtle and this nice fella named Maurice came over and visited. So Dawn comes in and she heads straight for Charlie's chair, which is this chair, which I don't normally sit in. But it's the only cushioned seat in my house, so I can't really blame her. So I run into the kitchen and I bring out some hors d'oeuvres. Would you like some pizza? But I tricked them because it wasn't pizza. It was watermelon cut like pizza. And Hendrix loved Dawn. And Dawn says to me, I have 7 dogs. And I say to her, I used to have 9 dogs. Why did I say that? It sounds like I'm trying to one-up her. Do you ever wish that life had like a 10-second rewind button? I have 7 dogs. Yeah, girl. Then we went out back to say hi to the goats, and they took some pictures, and then they got in the car to start the long drive back to Texas. And that week, my daughter adopted Hendrix and named him Dozer, and they lived happily ever after.